Well, hello. A few months ago I posted a fairly obnoxious video showing how to make what I consider to be the flagship offering from LA's Kogi taco truck, the Korean short rib taco. This video is going to show how to make something similar to another offering from the Kogi barbecue truck, the kimchi quesadilla. The recipe I'll show is similar to a recipe published in Gourmet magazine that was submitted by Kogi's chef, Roy Choi. Admittedly, this combination sounds really weird, but it's great. Even people who don't care for kimchi at all will probably enjoy this. Preparing the components of these quesadillas actually requires quite a bit of prep work, so keep that in mind. These quesadillas can certainly be enjoyed without adding any meat, but if you have any leftover kalbi or some sliced leftover bulgogi, this would be a great way to use it up. You could even use bacon if you'd like. I made a really simple chicken recipe with some Korean flavors in the marinade. The recipe for the chicken marinade is listed in the details section. Now for the kimchi. If you make your own, congratulations. I buy it, and I'm sure it's not as good as homemade kimchi, but I don't care. I do like to open the jar with a colander underneath because sometimes the cabbage and the juices will ooze up out of the jar. No such luck this time. By the way, kimchi's been getting a lot of attention lately for its health benefits. I don't know. Anyway, this recipe calls for 1 cup of kimchi drained. It's really important that you do not squeeze the juices out because you'd be putting a lot of flavor down the drain. Just a quick shake will do. The kimchi gets a rough chop just to make the pieces a little bit smaller. This will actually get sauteed over medium-low heat in 2 tablespoons of butter. And once the butter starts to bubble, add the kimchi and spread it around the pan. You can stir it a couple of times, but the key is to let the cabbage stay in contact with the pan so that it can start to get a little brown and crispy, like this. It normally takes about 10 minutes. Once it's done, put it in a bowl and let it cool off. Cooking the kimchi like this concentrates the flavors, especially the salt. Keep that in mind as the other components are prepared. I'm using low sodium soy sauce for everything else so that the salt doesn't overwhelm the dish. Also, a couple elements of this recipe call for toasted sesame seeds. I'm putting 3 tablespoons of raw sesame seeds into a pan that will be set to the lowest heat setting. Give the pan a shake every couple of minutes until the seeds are about the same color as peanut butter. This can take a while, but it's worth it. One optional ingredient for these quesadillas is an herb called perilla. The Korean kind is quite large, and unfortunately I couldn't find any. In Japan they use a type of perilla called shiso, and the Vietnamese variety is called tia to, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. All I could find was the Vietnamese kind, which is purple on the underside. It tastes sort of minty and basil-y. It's an optional ingredient, but it's nice to include if you can find it. This recipe calls for a cup of shredded Monterey Jack and a cup of shredded cheddar. I guess you could just get a bag of shredded Mexican blend cheese, but cheese really does melt a lot better if you shred it yourself. I like to serve the quesadillas with a slaw, and this one will be pretty simple. It starts with a half tablespoon of ginger, 1 small chopped jalapeno, 1 tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, and 1 tablespoon of those delicious toasted sesame seeds. By the way, you could just use a few tablespoons of a soy ginger salad dressing if you'd like. And this is just an 8-ounce bag of broccoli slaw, and even though it doesn't look like there's enough dressing, after this sits for a few minutes, the vegetables will let out some of their own juices. The Kogi truck serves their kimchi quesadillas with some type of salsa. Any good taqueria style salsa, red or green, would probably be fine with these. I like to use a gochujang based barbecue sauce. There is a product available at Whole Foods called Annie Chun's gochujang sauce, and it would be perfect for this. I would really recommend using that instead of making the sauce from scratch. But if you do already have a tub of gochujang paste in your refrigerator, you can find the recipe for the sauce in the details section. To assemble these beauties, first lay down a few of the perilla leaves onto a 10-inch tortilla. And if you have the large Korean perilla, you might end up needing only one leaf. Then put down half of the cheddar, half of the kimchi, and then 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds. That seems like a lot, but it tastes really good. And then half of the chicken or whatever meat you're using, and then half of the Monterey Jack. Put a frying pan over medium heat for a few minutes and add about a tablespoon of canola oil before putting the quesadillas in. You could do it without the oil, but the tortilla gets a little extra crispy this way. Check the bottom after about 1 minute, and then flip it if it's taking on a golden brown color. The other side should take another minute, and then it's done. To serve this, cut each quesadilla into 4 wedges, and then arrange it on a plate. And then you can put on some fancy zigzags with the barbecue sauce, and then put a nice scoop of the slaw on the side. This is ready to eat. Eat this immediately because quesadillas become less awesome every minute after they are removed from the frying pan. There are a lot of surprisingly good flavors here, so I hope you give this a shot. Thanks for watching. What a beauty! Oh, how fancy!